Well, hello friends. We're at Gay Gardens. This is the first time we've been here since November, and I'm slightly mourning the loss of our 3 trees that we lost here near the outhouse and the chicken house, and it's sad. And it's really sad because it makes the buildings look even worse than they already do. But it's giving us the opportunity to move the outhouse into a different spot, which we'll do, and then we'll do the repairs to it. But you can really see that the tree clobbered the roof, and we've got to straighten out the chicken house because it must have got hit too, because it's kind of leaning. But the good news and the really exciting news, I just was over here looking, and we have an ancient apricot tree, which I'm really thrilled about. And it has quite a bit of fruit on it right now. So we're going to have to monitor this situation and see if we can get a nice little group of apricots off of it. So this is very exciting. Of course, I think they're apricots. I'm not totally sure, but it sure looks like it to me. So we'll see how this, oh, hey, I can do it. I can do a, no, I don't, they're not apricots. Well, maybe they are. I think that they are. It's been so long since I've seen one of these old trees that I have a hard time remembering back into the 1960s. But there's been a lot of salvaged wood that is going to be repurposed to fix the chicken house, and clearly we're not going to have any free-range chickens because this is not a safe place for them to be out and about. And then we did just get some very kind of funny news that this shed that we are going to pull down, at one point someone long ago lived in it, and that would really be the definition of a shack. And you can see that, you know, we didn't cut trees down for no reason. They were coming down and they basically have knocked that over. So it's bye-bye. But Mr. Butler's crew has managed to save a lot of good old wood from various spaces. So we've got it saved up here, which we're going to use it all. And there you can see a nice lizard crawling around. Nice nature. And then at some point this is going to get all cleared out of the space here, and we'll use that for something. They have taken out many dumpster loads of things, and I have enjoyed throwing things in it. And we've got this old boat that's next. I think everyone's afraid to pick it up because there might be snakes underneath it. And I'm going to walk you down to the barn, but we're not going to get near it. And I wish you could smell, friends, because it smells so beautiful right now. I don't know what this tree is, but it has these beautiful trumpet style flowers, and it smells just delightful. If you know what the flowers are, please put it in the comments. I'd love to know. Bunny! Oh, there's a bunny. Bunny, don't go that way. That is not a good place for Bunny to be hanging out. And I see that there is a so those of you following this on Facebook, the Facebook group, yesterday we were here, and I thought I would go up and look into the boxes upstairs in the loft of the barn. I'm gonna get just, not gonna get any closer than this. And up where that second window is, so that would be on your right, the lower part of the barn up in the loft. I walked up a very steep set of stairs, and there's things all over, so it wasn't easy. And then I got upstairs and I went to open the little window on the opposite side of the building because it was very dark up there. And I just felt that there was someone with me. And then I opened the window and I was kind of startled by the little hissing of a hissing sound. And I turned and these little creatures were showing me their wings, even though they were filled with, fluff. So I don't know how Mama gets in there. We're gonna just leave all the doors the way they are, but somehow she gets in there and they're there and they're gonna stay and no one's gonna bother them. I don't know how they're gonna get out, but they know how to walk, so they'll I guess they'll figure out how to get out. But they're there now, so I guess we're gonna name this the Eagle's Nest. We could, at some point when we redo the roof, put a nesting box on the roof, and that could be really interesting. So they've done a little bit mowing here, nothing, no major gardening happening, and this mound kind of drives me crazy, but I guess it can stay for a little while, and we'll get to it. And then at some point, I'm going to tackle this field, and you can see where we have trees missing, and we will plant a new set of trees across that one space. So then we kind of block out the front field. And this was originally the horse pasture. And it's quite large. It's probably, an acre and a half, I would imagine, or maybe an acre. So it's a nice space. So, I can see someone listens to me. So we took the steps that were in the front of the house, and I asked them to drop them here, and they dropped them here. So I will use this somehow here, because the plan is to excavate this down and make it fairly flat, and then kind of create a mound effect on three sides, so that way we can kind of keep the forest at bay, because that's basically back in there a forest, and then have this space for a garden. And I'm going to take you next to show you the beaver pond. Here is our creek that divides our property from the others, which everything on the right side is ours and everything on the left side is someone else's, but the water belongs to the great state of Virginia. It is their water, and it's part of the ecosystem that makes the world work and everything healthy. And you can see that somebody's done quite a bit of damming up there, and at some point we're going to over here, way over there in the back, the distance, we're going to have a pathway down from our property. I'm actually standing on one of the roads, which is a dip in the road where we can really get a good view of it without having to trek down the embankment, because it is very natural and woodsy. So I'm looking forward to getting a a peek at the Beaver, Mr. and Mrs. Beaver. Now behind us is a very, on the other side is a very posh home, and I guess we could hear them if we went to the end of our property and, you know, tried hard to listen. But I also found something interesting. Across on the other side of the road, there's an abandoned building that nature's taken over. So there must be a story there, which I don't know what the story is, but nature has totally taken over. So I'm gonna go back to the farm. I thought I was gonna take a shortcut through the field, and then I realized that I can't jump that far. Whoop, little bugs, it's that time of year. So this over here is our forest, and it's actually quite thick, and it goes back, and I love the idea of that. I think it's so important to have things where, you know, yes, we're going to manicure part of our property so that we can live in it and enjoy the gardens, but it's also nice to have things just left as Mother Nature intended it. And what's really fascinating is the road. I know that they excavated it to make this road long ago in the 18th century, but the property is actually pretty high up. So there's really not a, knock on wood, a chance of flooding because it's so high up. It's very quiet, although there are cars going by because it is now after 5 o'clock. But here's another little creek. So this runs, it probably really actually runs off of our field and then goes down into the Beaver Pond. Locals, I'm sure, think I'm crazy out here. And I did have a really excellent idea, although they're not natives to this area, but to keep people out of the fields and out of our property, and having something that's edible and also makes a fantastic fence. So this all is ours, but here's where we kind of need a fence. And this is, I would guess it's the south field. And you can see how high up 200 years of farming has made the field really quite tall. But it'd be nice to keep people out of the property by on the perimeter planting berries with stickly things that will hurt you if you try to get through it. So I think that's what we'll do. That'll be one of my old age projects. And I should show you all over here. I'm sure that people in Virginia won't be impressed with this, but in California, I think we would love this. West Coast people. These are just the Wildflowers bachelor buttons. And it's so hard to find blue flowers. And I could just come out here and pick some and make a bouquet. They're so spriggly. And even some of the little weedy type things would make a wonderful, but these are just on the roadside. So it looks to me like our neighbors are planting wheat in their fields, and I think we're going to do soybeans. That's the plan. So you can see again how high up from the road, how high up the field is, and I thought I was just going to walk down that, but not a chance. Last thing I need to do is break a leg. And we have some other plants that I'm not sure what they are, but I'll use that app and find out. If you know, put it in the comments. It's always nice to interact with all of you. It's fairly clean here, but we do have a couple of litter bugs. So I am going to get one of those little pickup things, like little tongs, and come out and pick up the garbage. And because I just don't really like to see it. I don't mind the natural, this not being mowed, but I don't enjoy seeing someone's six-pack of beer that they threw alongside the road. That's not just a problem in Virginia, that's all over the world. So there you can see our fields are just resting, and that's the front side of the woods that we just walked around. And there's still a lot of organic matter that hasn't broken down yet. There's a lot of corn cobs, and because last season was corn, but I think since it's fairly late, I think they're going to go with soybeans. I think that's the plan. And you can hear how peaceful it is. So what I love about Gay Gardens, and the thing that made it very attractive to us, is that the house is set back from the road. And although this doesn't look like a real long driveway on film, it's quite a long driveway. And you could almost drive past it and not even see that there was a house there. And that's very attractive to us. It makes it a little more secretive and mysterious, and who doesn't like a little bit of mystery? But what I wanted to show you is how wonderful the new window looks from the driveway. And I have a tree right in the way, but I'm going to step off the driveway and then you can see it better. So that window is high up, and the original window had fallen out and just disintegrated. And David managed to find with his eagle eye an antique window in very good condition. As a matter of fact, a pair. And Mr. Butler and his crew repaired it and refabricated the original trim. There was enough of the trim surviving that we could see how it was made, and then they replicated it. And then all around the window there were issues with the wood, so they managed to pull some of the wood off of the porch and reuse it, because it would be really difficult to replicate that board. Could be done, but it would never look the same. So this is really kind of nice. And you can see earlier I was talking about replanting the trees, where this opening has just gotten bigger and bigger, and it shouldn't be there. And we'll bring in some big trees that will grow fast and put them there. So, but everything is blooming up now, and I think we can tell who's dead as far as a tree and who's not. And one thing that's alive and well is the ivy, and that's going to be my old age battle. I will be like Don Quixote and Man of La Mancha. I'll go out and fight ivy every day, and ultimately probably the ivy will win. But you can see it really, it looks pretty and all that, but it will destroy all these nice little bushes here. And maybe the reality is, because it's so intertwined, it might all have to come out and start again. And you have to be prepared for that in a gardening situation. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what's happening in the front. Lots of changes. And I can hear David and Jason are in the house. They're doing measuring and whatnot. And boy, this ground is a lot harder than when we took over the property, because the moles have been kind of packed down. So they've made some great progress with the railings and the porch. It's just such an amazing transformation. There's more to go, but remember, this is like a jigsaw puzzle. One piece has to be done and another piece. So they've taken the siding off the front of the house. That's going to be replaced, but they can't replace it until they do the side beams. And you can see this beam here, we replaced that because it was had some termite damage, but nothing that would make the house fall down. But it's always best to err on the side of strength. And the piece of wood had to stay here for a while to get acclimated to the climate. And then this front of the bay needs to, was in bad shape. So that's going to be redone, and that's going to be covered with a fish scale design, which I think will be charming. And because we are who we are and we want what we want, we're going to continue this trim around the whole house, because it's kind of a plain house, and I'm sure it had some kind of decorative trim at one point. And it just will help give it more of a birthday cake effect. So, you know, we carry on, and then I see we've got some other nice big strong pieces of wood that we're going to use just in case we have any more damages. And then I have some more plans, and I'll come back to you at this later. And this is amazing. David shared a photograph of these. They're some kind of a lily, and they close during the evening. So I think that's really sweet and special. And the smokehouse is still in the state it was, but we will get to that. So I will be back, and I'm going to go in and see what they're up to in the house. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.